Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that the 2024 contest was not legit. We all know that there was some cheating on some tests. We know that. And there's this wonderful organization called the Election Truth Alliance that did some fantastic forensic accounting, statistical analysis of every single aspect of three specific counties. There's working on a whole bunch more in other states in the country. In Pennsylvania, it's Allegheny, Erie, and Philadelphia counties is what they worked on. They worked on 3,179 precincts across those counties. Now, they got all these amazing discoveries, and they found out all these anomalies, and they ran them by this gentleman by the name of Dr. Walter Mabane. He's from the University of Michigan. Now, what makes him special is he is the guy that the United Nations goes to when there are issues in elections around the world. We're talking that this is the guy that discovers them and finds them out. So he knows what he's doing. And it's really, really important that people recognize that the numbers themselves did not make sense. In the history of the United States, you know, that there were certain things that just triggered red flags, and they were overlooked for whatever reason. And this is the things that people need to focus on. And then you could go in. I invite you all in. I'll link the website and the videos on YouTube. All right, let's talk about what Election Truth Alliance found, and then we'll talk about what Dr. Mabane found. What they found are the basic red flags that are obvious. There were over 200 coordinated B threats in targeted election offices. These offices or testing facilities were specific to heavy in the Democratic way, things like that. Those are the way heavy blue school testing facilities, if you know what I'm saying. New rules. So those were the ones targeted, and there were emails sent to specific people in specific positions in specific counties that were followed back to Russian email addresses and all that stuff. So that's besides the point. But the fact that they found specific people in 200 plus coordinated on test day says it was coordinated, it was organized, and they had to do a lot of work to do it. Because when you're sending a threat, wouldn't you really just blindly, just to whom it may concern? You know what I'm saying? So that means something. Who put those people in those positions who got these? Who knows? All 7 swing states flipped to one party with no triggered recounts. At a certain level of loss, there's an automatic recount. There's an automatic, okay, let's make sure. Then they do a hand count. None of those were actually done. None of them were done. He won by just enough not to trigger the recount in all 7 swing states. That's a little fishy. Now, you look at all that stuff, and then you add it to 88 counties all the way across the board nationally. 88 counties went to only one party. All the counties that flipped in the 2024 test cycle went to red. Every single one. Just a reminder, if you think back during this election cycle, of all the record numbers of new registrations, of woman voters, of every single demographic, there were record numbers of registrations. You know it, I know it. It was all over the news, breaking records everywhere, lines out the door, records everywhere. Then how the hell, and Judge, this isn't from their stuff, this is just what we've been talking about here on Revolution Washington. Remember, they had 40,000 people in places that usually have 7,000 people per day on average, had 40,000 people before lunch the first day. There is no way in hell there was 15 million less votes in 2024 than there was in 2020. No way in hell. Sorry, 15 million votes less. So when you look at all of these things with 88 counties that flipped in 2024 in the whole country, including many in the state of California, part of this video, part of the reason why you need to watch all of it, If you have time, watch it a few times. The information, and then jump, research down if something strikes you, because the information there is amazing. And what Dr. Mebane found when he looked into this stuff was not only that it was consistent with flagged elections and fraudulent elections, tests in Venezuela, Turkey, and the Philippines. These were things that he forensically discovered on an international stage. So when this guy looked over all this data and did his own digging around hand to hand with Election Truth Alliance, it confirmed everything else and added to it. And the manual review was suppressed. Less than 5% of the ballots were manually reviewed. That's not technically a recount. That's not checking everything. Reviews are triggered by an outdated 1980 law that capped at 2,000 ballots or 2% per county, which means they're only grabbing random ballots per county. That's not no requirement to review the presidential race at all. That's something that they took advantage of. That's something that they found, which means the presidential race wasn't reviewed. Now, aside from this, another piece of information that was proven from other studies was, and he talked about this, was the Russian tail and the situation where how can Democrats down ticket win all those elections, but the presidential contest goes to red? Doesn't make sense. So all of these things put together, plus what he brought into the picture with oversight failures and everything else, he talked about the Fayette County judge that was legally blocked by a court order from hand counting the ballots. The judge wanted to review it because something was fishy. She was blocked from hand counting the ballots by a court order. This was all there. This was all known. There is an interview with the staffer that talked about discussions that were going on that infuriate me, and information that was known that should have been on every media outlet everywhere. Everyone should have been screaming at the top of their lungs. And like I was from day one, from election night, waiting for those 89 million mail-in ballots to show up, waiting for that jump in the numbers. That, with these brilliant investigations, nothing about this is how it's painted.